Hello everyone, welcome back to Easy Peasy Photoshop. For today's lesson, we're gonna talk about four more tools for you guys: the information tools, stamp tools, patch tools, and gradient tool. We will also talk about the two terms, blur and sharpen. We're gonna teach you what are these two, that's the meaning and how to use them. Okay, so for the start, let's meet our old friend here. We will start with the information tools. Here, if you go here, you see there is icon of the eyedropper, and the shortcut is I. If you click on your keyboard letter I, it will be pop up. If you hold here, you can see there are several tools inside. The first one, eyedropper tool. What is this one? Basically, it's gonna select any color that we click here. For example, you want to use the exact same black color here. Okay, so what you're gonna do, you're gonna use your eyedropper. You just click here, any place here. This here, as you see, it's changed. For example, if I go here, my color change, it automatically will pick up the color of that pixel that you are selecting. For example, if I zoom here, if I click in that pixel, it gives me the color of that pixel. If I click here, it gives me the color of the other pixel. So basically, you can choose any color that you want. Like if you are making a brochure or any kind of design that you have different color on that one, then you want to use the exact color that you using before, you can easily just go and use this eyedropper tool and find out the color that you are using. So there are two more eyedropper tools. We're not going to talk about them because this is the 3D. We're not going to talk about the 3D stuff here in this lesson. And the color sampler tool, we're going to go back and talk about it another time when we are done talking about the colors. The second part, there is a ruler tool. If you put any place, for example, I want to select here up to here. So basically, it's gonna give me information about this point, my X and my Y, and how I go up, the angle of my line. Just give you some information about that one. I didn't really see people use this tool much, but there is another ruler that which is more important than the tool that is here. Let's talk about that one. As I mentioned before, if you go to the view and you select here on the ruler or the shortcut Control R, you can see something pop up here. So basically, that's the ruler that most of the designers using them. You can put some guideline with this ruler. If you go here under your ruler, then you just hold the left click and drag it here. As you can see, you can create a guideline. For example, I come here and then I remove it. I have a guideline there, and I make another guideline here. You can also do it from the top, make the horizontal guidelines. You can do unlimited guidelines. Okay, so what are the use of these guidelines? For example, you want to create a layer here. Let's make a blank layer here. If I move it, you can see when you go near to the guideline, it's automatically jump and attach there. Look, it's automatically jump and attach there. So if I have several files, then I want to be sure all of them they are under each other. I can use my guidelines. Also, when you are designing the brochure or images that they're gonna print, you can put a guideline like make a 1 centimeter border for yourself, because you know when you're gonna print, maybe it's not gonna exact print everything, so if you have some details they will be missing. So you can also use the guideline for this kind of methods. And if you want to remove each of this guideline, what you're gonna do is you simply go, when you go to the on top of that, your mouse will be changed. You can left click, you can move them, and if you want to completely delete them, you can just move them up. That means that's it. You can easily remove them. And if you want to remove your ruler again, you do Control R, or again you can go to the view and select the rulers and the ruler gone. When you have the guideline, if you save your file as a PSD file, your guideline will be reminder. But if you save it as a JPEG and you open it later in the other program, like if you just want to view it or send it to other person, they open it in their screen, your guidelines won't be visible there. So don't worry about it. You don't really need to remove your guidelines all the time before you're saving your file. So if you want to change here the measurements, like right now I am using centimeter. If you want to change your units to like inch, to pixel, to any other kind of unit, you go here to this part and you go to the units and rulers. You click here. Here you can change the unit. For example, if I put it on inch, okay, now it changed to inches. So it's up to you what country you are using the Photoshop, what kind of unit do you gonna use. You can always change your ruler to any other unit that you like. Okay. So the other information tool that we have, it's the note tool. It's simply, it's like you leave a note on your work. For example, you are working here, then you just want to remind yourself that later I change the color of the eye to the blue. So I go to my note, I click here. Here my panel of my note panel will be open. I can write anything here, like later change the color, for example, like this. Okay, now when I'm working, this note is always there. If I just click on that, right click on that, you can see open note, and you open the note and your message will be here. So you can remember, okay, I had to do something like that. Or you can also use the same thing when you are actually reviewing another person's work. For example, I make a file, I give it to you, you want to do some changes, or your client wants to do some changes, they can put these notes for you. For example, we change the color of this background, do other things. You can put lots of notes everywhere to talk about different places. You can right click on each of them, put delete note, so that note will be deleted, or you can put delete all notes, so everything will be deleted at once. So here we go. We basically learn another panel also, the note panel, and how it's gonna work. The next one is the count tool. Basically, it's gonna put numbers on your image. Let's see, for example, we have an image like that. It's like an information page we're gonna make about the different type of dogs, different breed that they have. So, for example, I click here. This is my number 1. I can change the color of my numbering, for example, to, let's say, maybe black color. Okay. I can even change my size also. You see, I change the size of the dot here. And my number. So the label size, sorry guys. So basically the label size is the size of your number, and marker size is the size of this dot that you have. So I click here, then I put here, and I put here, and I put something for this dog. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you have some information about it. So that's it. It's simple. You can actually do it with other kind of tools. We have a text tool. We're gonna talk about it later. You can easily just put the numbers. So anyway, it's up to if you want to use this option. It's here for you guys. This one, if you save your file on the JPEG, of course they will stay in your file. It's not just on the PSD. It's not like the guidelines that they will be removed. This one will be a stay even if you save your file in the JPEG. So here we go. They are the information tools. So basically they don't do anything. They don't affect our image. They don't affect our work, but they just give us some information that we might need for our work. Okay, let's close them. Let's go talk about the stamp tool. This here. when we have two kind of them. Clone a stamp tool. Let us open another file for you guys. Okay, so just imagine I have this flower. I want to create the same flower here. I don't want to create the exact layer, okay, because as you remember, if you want to create the exact layer, you can just go here, right click and duplicate it. So now I have two flowers, okay. So I don't want to do that. Just imagine I want to, in the same layer that I have, I want to create another flower here. What I can do, I using the clone stamp tool. Basically, I go somewhere, I hold the Alt key. You can see when I hold the Alt, my cursor is changed. And I click here. So for example, starting here. Now, if I go any other place, if I move my mouse, you see, actually, it's showing the place that I was marked. And I can also change the size of my brush here. So I make it like that. Then I hold the left shift and I start moving it. As you can see, when I move, there is a, if you look at the main flower that I have, you can see there is a plus there going around. Wherever I move my mouse, that plus will move, and exactly also my brush circle will move, and it will copy anything that is in that area. For example, I copy this one. Now I go again. This time I click here on this leaf here, and I start drawing there. See, when I move, everything exactly will be copied in the other side. Okay, so maybe you think, what's the use of that? Well, you can create lots of things with it. For example, I go on this flower. Now I'm gonna for example, something like that. Anyway, we're not gonna try to make something very clean and decent. It's just a training. For example, something like this. So it looks like actually there are two flowers. So this is a clone tool. So wherever you go, you make a left click with your Alt. You hold the left Alt. You make a click, and then you start drawing them. So it will basically clone that area. If you have different files, so like that, you can also, for example, I select this layer, I click here, and I use this layer now as my clone source. Okay. So that's the main thing about it. If you click on the option of your clone or this one, if you click on that, it will be the option of your clone source will be open. Here, as you see, I have 5 different clone sources. For example, if this is my file here, and I have my second file here, I want to clone something from this image into this image. Okay, if I go to my clone source, now if I go there, you can see there the name of the files will be here. For example, if I click here, now flower PSD layer 2 is my main clone source. That means this file. Now if I go here in this image and I start cloning, see, it used my source from the other side. But now I go back here. Now I want to use this side. I make another clone tool. Now you see my clone source is different. Now if I use my clone source, it will use this image. So basically you can put different type of clone source. Again, if I go to the flower, I select that, then I make the clone. Again, it go back to my flower as my clone source. So you can actually change here. But the easiest way is just use the Alt key. This is the easiest way. If you go there, you make the Alt key, you use your Alt, you make your source here, then you go here and draw. This will be your clone source. You go here, you click with your Alt, you select here, this will be your clone source. So basically, you don't need to really challenge yourself with this stuff here. This is the easiest way. You just go anywhere that you want. You use your Alt and left click and make it your clone source. So it's up to you. Still, if you want, you can use this files here. And there are some options here. For example, let's go back to normal. If I want to clone this flower and put it here, you can see it's totally straight. Now if I, for example, give angle 30% angle on that one, now let's see this time how it will be. You see it will be on the angle. So basically you can change the angle of your clone, and then the size and the other things here. Also, this using the clip and the overlay, it's basically if you click somewhere here, this will be my clone source. Then I go here. Okay, then I click just like that. If I move the clip, I remove that, it will show me the whole file that I have as my clone source. And if I uncheck it, that's only show me the spot that I already cloned. So again, don't mind yourself with this panel, actually this clone source panel. It doesn't have actually much things to do. It's just make the things complicated. So try not to use it. They are easiest way to do the same thing. We're gonna move forward, and I'm gonna teach you about it. So I'm just telling you so you know what this clone source panel actually does. But it's just make the things complicated. It's better you just simply go the place that you want, use your alt click and start cloning. The only thing that here that I like about this panel is this show overlay. For example, if I make my clone source here, you know, when I move, it will actually show me that how it will be look like if I click here. Okay, but if you want to turn off this option, if I turn off my show overlay, now that I move, it doesn't show that how it will be look like. So when I click, actually I will be surprised, wow, what happened there. Okay, but it's up to you. Sometimes you want to see the preview of your work, that how it will be look like, so you use your overlay. Sometimes you want to be sure where am I clicking. Okay, maybe you have lots of details here, you don't want to remove them, so you want to exactly go and click in this part, you just clone it in this place, so you can turn it off. So it's up to you. If you want, you can turn on or turn off this part. For me, I like when I turn it off. For me, it's easier, more convenience, but it's up to you guys. So here it was our clone, and how we gonna clone that. And in the here at the option bar, if you look, you can change the your brush type. It's look like the normal brush. You can change the hardness of your clone. For example, if I put it on the hardness, now if I clone, you see how does it clone. It's exactly, they are the same option that we had in the brush tool. So you can change the hardness, the size of your clone, or even change the style. For example, if I use this style for my clone, let's see, now that's how it's gonna clone. So they're exactly the same thing that we had before in the brush tool. The only thing that is different here, there is a sample all layer. Just imagine, I have this PSD file that it has 2 layers. Okay, if I put my clone source at the all layer, that means when I'm using the clone, for example, I go here and I use the clone, you see the both layers and all my entire image clone here. Now if I want to only use this pink flower as my clone tool, so I can easily just go to the current layer, then I click here in the pink tool, pink flower, then I make my clone now. Now let's see what will happen this time. See, this other layer and the background are not cloned here. So if you put it again in the all layer and then you make another clone, you see everything will be cloned. Now again I change it to current layer, and this time I choose my orange flower, and now only the orange flower will be used as your clone source. So here another panel we also learn, beside the tools, the clone source panel, you also learn about it. Now let's see, we have another style of pattern. It's a pattern stamp tool. Basically, when you do use with that, you're gonna create some, you're gonna use some pattern. Here, you can see there are some preset for each version of the Photoshop. They are different, but here they are the pattern that I have. For example, I choose this pattern, then I start using my clone pattern. See, it's adding that texture into my image. Okay, so what you can do, for example, let's crop our image until here, this one. Okay, then I want to use the face of dog as my pattern. So what I'm gonna do here, I go to the edit and I go to the define pattern, and I'm gonna name it, Mr. something JPEG. That will be my pattern. Okay, now if I go to any other file that I have, like even if I go here to this image, okay, and I go to my pattern clone, I click here on my pattern, I can see this, the one that we created, it's also here. No, we can use it as a pattern. If you go in any other object that you have, then you start moving around, it will make your dog. Actually, this is so small, so it doesn't create much. Let's just use it in the higher version. You see, it creates lots of dog face beside each other, the exact pattern that I created. It wasn't shown here because actually my file is very small here. If I make my file big here, then I choose my pattern, you can see that it's also created. So it's up to you. You can actually make different pattern using your brush or other things. For example, let's make a quick pattern here. Again, another pattern. I can create patterns here. For example, I use this kind of color here, then I put 3 lines here, then I use my brush and have this string. Okay, so I said that this is my pattern. Again, I go here to the edit, define pattern, I give another name to it, then click. Okay, now if I go to my stamp tool, here I have my new pattern here. Then see, it will create the exact same pattern, cloned it over and over and over. Okay, so you can also delete your patterns here. Just go right click on them and delete them, or you can also create rename them or create a new pattern. That's it. So simple. If you click here, you can see there is something it's called load pattern. Sometimes you can find lots of patterns inside the internet that you can save them, and then if you want to load them in your Photoshop, you just simply go here, click on the load pattern, and this pattern will be shown here.